Once upon a time, high up in the big blue sky lived a little cloud named Coco. Now, Coco was a small cloud with a big heart. And as she squinted, she noticed that the sun was winking at her. Then she tried blocking the sun's face, but she was just a tiny little cloud and the sun shone right through her. And then she noticed something strange. As the sun shone through her, his golden light turned into beautiful red and orange and pink. And as the tiny cloud passed overhead, she could feel raindrops falling on her head. And she looked up and saw that tiny cloud had become a big, fat, juicy water balloon filled with rain. Then the tiny cloud split open and the first drop of water fell onto the dry ground. And Bloom cried out, "Oh, wonderful! At last, a little water," because they had never seen such beautiful colors in the sky before. Then suddenly, a big gray cloud drifted in front of her and blocked her view of the sun. And he said, "Hey, Coco, what are you doing?" "You're too small to paint the sunset." But Coco took a deep breath and she remembered what Bloom had said. She had something special inside of her. She could make the sky beautiful. So she took a big brush, which was really her fluffy white body. And if you enjoyed this story, please click the like button because it really helps us grow. Thank you for watching. And she swirled it around, mixing all of the colors together into the most beautiful pink-orange color anyone had ever seen. There was red and there was orange and there was pink and purple and blue. The sky looked like a giant watercolor painting. And Coco smiled because she wasn't just a tiny little cloud anymore. And whenever she saw a flower or a bird or an airplane, she would send a little bit of rain their way. And all of the flowers and birds and airplanes and people would cheer and say, "Thank you, Coco, for everything." And Coco knew that even though she was just a tiny little cloud, she could do something special. She was Coco, the cloud who painted the most beautiful sunsets. And Coco floated past the big clouds, painting the sky with the colors of the sunset. Then more and more raindrops fell from the sky, and soon Bloom was the happiest flower in the garden. And she thought, "I may be a small cloud, but maybe I can do this." And the little cloud said, "You're welcome, Bloom. I'm just doing my job." But Bloom replied, No, you're not just doing your job. You have something very special inside of you. You can bring rain wherever you go. And no one else can do that." Now, Coco had never thought of herself as special before. She had always felt too small to do anything important, but now Bloom was thanking her. And she realized that even a tiny little cloud like her could do something special. And so as the sun went down behind the big gray clouds, but Coco shook her head and said, "No, Bloom, I have to go back to the sky and help Sunny with something special." And he said, "Oh, Coco, you came back. It's time to help me now." And then the two of them went behind the big gray clouds. And Coco said, "Okay, Sunny, what should I do?" And the sun replied, "Just reflect my colors and make the sky beautiful." So Coco moved in front of the sun and reflected his colors across the sky. Then Bloom said, "Well, thank you, Coco, for everything. I will miss you." And Coco flew back to the big blue sky feeling very happy inside. Coco moved in front of him and reflected the colors of the sunset onto the ground below. So she stopped right in front of him and asked, "Oh, Sunny, why are you winking at me?" And she gasped because she had never seen such beautiful colors in the sky before. Now, this little girl had a favorite flower in her garden, a very beautiful flower named Bloom. But lately, Bloom hadn't been looking very happy. Her petals were wilting and she was very thirsty. And the little girl thought, if only a rain cloud would come by, my flower would be so happy. And just then, she looked up in the sky and saw the most beautiful colors she had ever seen. And she knew something amazing must be happening in the sky. And Sunny said, "Well, I wink at everyone who's going to help me." And tomorrow, you're going to help me do something very special. Now, Coco had never helped the sun before. She didn't know what she could possibly do. She was just a tiny little cloud, but she really wanted to be helpful. So she said, "Okay, Sunny, I will help you in any way that I can. Just let me know what to do." Then Sunny winked at her again and disappeared behind the big puffy clouds. And Coco spent the whole night thinking about what she could possibly do to help the sun. She loved her home in the sky very much. But every day when she looked around, she saw lots of big gray clouds bigger than mountains floating all around her, and they would make thunderstorms and block the face of the sun. But Coco couldn't do any of that. She was just a tiny little cloud. And so every day she felt very sad and left out. One day, Coco was floating past the face of the sun. And the sun was very bright, so Coco had to squint her eyes. When the next morning came, she tried making some thunder, but it just came out as a little clap of thunder. Now, as the colors spread across the sky, they caught the eye of a little girl who was watering her flowers. And as she watched, she saw a tiny little cloud drifting closer and closer. As the last drop of water hit the ground, Bloom cried, "Thank you, kind cloud, for saving me." Then Bloom asked, "Can you stay here in my garden forever and make it rain?" When Coco returned to the sky, she saw that Sunny was waiting for her. Now, all of the big gray clouds saw this, and they cheered and shouted, "Go, Coco, go!" And as she painted, she thought, "I may be a small cloud, but I can do something special." And when the big gray clouds saw this, they all cheered and shouted, "Good job, Coco, good job!" And from that day on, every evening when the sun went down, Coco would come out from behind the big gray clouds and paint the sky with the colors of the sunset. The end. Do you have a favorite character from the story? Do you like Sunny or Bloom or Coco? Tell me all about it in the comments below.